What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, a very special episode.
Yup.
Episode 50, 50th anniversary of The Final Whistle. A lot of podcasts don't get past episode 3. I think the stat is like 90% don't get past episode 3. We're at episode 50. So
Happy anniversary.
The big 50, happy anniversary. Nate, we've came a long way. This show started off, for anyone who doesn't know the lore behind The Final Whistle, me and Nate had a radio show at our college.
Of course.
And I was gonna carry the torch.
Yep.
And shout out Dr. Stiegler. I'll
shout
name
him
drop.
out.
I'm name drop. I don't care. The dude called me into his office, tells me we don't want to do a show about professional sports anymore. We want to keep it local sports. I promise you, no one cares.
More.
Yeah, so me and him bickered a little bit. He cut our cord, and we're now doing this. So thank you for everyone that is tuned in, commented, and made it possible for us to keep going 50 episodes strong. Couldn't be possible without Dr. Stiegler canning our show on WIEP FM. So shout out to you, Dr. Stiegler.
Thanks, Doc.
Yeah. So yeah, episode 50, big one. Heat of March Madness yesterday went well for my bracket. I lost one pick in my bracket. I was, I think, at 15 for 16 in my bracket. Yeah. Oh yeah. The only loss I had was, who was it? It was Missouri. I picked everything else right correctly. I got the McNeese upset. I had literally everything. I had it all. And now I'm going to get my second loss right here as Memphis is going to lose to Colorado State, which is brutal. But I'll tell you what, Nate, for someone who has only lost one pick in their brackets, I'm like neck and neck with people in all my polls. Yeah. I think that this is like such a cookie cutter March Madness so far that so many people have like near perfect brackets that it's like, I can't even feel good about having like an almost perfect bracket so far.
I saw there's like 30 people that haven't picked a single right answer so far.
That's sad.
You
have to try to do that, I feel like.
What's funny about the bracket stuff, I've lost track of how many I've got right and wrong. My bracket where I picked Michigan to win was surprisingly the better one because I picked Drake. I picked I forget who else was McNeese I picked. But there are some games on right now. The UNC Ole Miss game is on my TV about to start. But let's just cover what's happened yesterday. So I guess the play-ins, your UNC pick was wrong. So I thank you to my Trump pick. So yesterday's games, we had a couple upsets. Then we saw a bunch of the one seeds you would expect. So Houston won 78-40 over SIU Edwardsville. Nothing really there. Auburn wins by 20 over Alabama State. Wofford, who we discussed in the our bracket show. I think it was Nevin or I forget who, Nicholas brought it up as a Wofford could upset Tennessee. Tennessee survived 77-62. St. John's wins by 30 against Omaha. Montana, Wisconsin was kind of close at points, but Wisconsin, of course, 85-66. Yeah. Texas Tech survives by 10 to UNC Wilmington. That was probably the closer game. High Point gave Purdue a little bit of a battle, 75-63. Yale loses by 9. That was my Cinderella last year. 80-71. McNeese, Clemson, that was the big one. They only won by 2, but honestly, Danny, that was a blowout for some.
That was a crazy end of that game.
That final minute and a half was well coached.
Played so stupid.
Yeah, it was a perfect coaching job.
Full court passes.
Yeah, turnovers, quick dunks. And at halftime, it was 31-13 McNeese. I turn it off, and then they slowly start coming back. Clemson won the second half 54-38, by the way. McNeese only won this game because Clemson's coach, the announcers were losing their minds, saying, "Why are they not turning? Why are they not fouling?" I mean, and you know what? It made sense because they were letting McNeese be stupid. They were just, like you said, full court lobs. They were turning over the ball, and then they were doing these quick dunks that took 2 seconds. And then what did that do? They kept sending Clemson to the free throw line. Clemson kept hitting 3-pointers, so that was a big game. Michigan survives by 3 to UC San Diego. That was kind of scary for my bracket, 68-65. BYU beats VCU. I had VCU winning that one as an upset, 80-71. Drake beat Missouri, so down goes one of the SEC programs by 10. Arkansas beat Kansas, and this was, I think, one of the only times or a rare time where Kansas was the preseason number 1. They lose in the first round to SEC Kansas. UCLA destroys Utah State. I think we both picked Utah State in our our bracket here. And then Creighton beat Louisville, and then Gonzaga beat Georgia pretty handily. But I mean, what are a couple games that stuck out to you? Do we want to talk McNeese Clemson first? I think that's the big one.
Yeah. When you look at that, oh my God, my throat's killing me. Go for it.
Yeah, but like I kind of already said, like Clemson almost was able to get back into this game. McNeese just started being stupid towards the end. Like I'm watching this game. I'm like, why are we not just wasting the clock? Why are we not, why are we doing these full court turnovers, just going from the inbound pass to set up alley-oops and dunks? Cool, it's cool for the moment, but there was a minute and a half on the clock for what felt like 10 minutes. It was a well-used clock management by Clemson's coach. I know I was kind of pissy about them not fouling. I was like, you got to get some points. Get to the free throw line, which the one announcer was too. But it honestly started to make sense because I think Clemson's coach just knew McNeese was going to go, hey, we're going to make this all flashy and get all this pizzazz and have some fun here. And Clemson almost took advantage of that. Like I said, like if Clemson doesn't only score 13 points in the first half, they win this game.
I agree. I think that McNeese thought it was sweet for a little bit. And at the end of that game, they started celebrating a little bit too early. Clemson banged a few threes, made McNeese scared. McNeese had to hit some free throws, and they were struggling. And Clemson was fouling McNeese, and it was tough. But when you look at this game, Nate, this is the epitome of a 5-12 game. It's just the epitome of it. And I know another one's unfolding under our eyes right now with this Memphis Colorado State right now. But this was a really fun game to watch. But you know who pisses me off just a little bit? That damn manager for McNeese. He just pisses me off a little bit.
Who? Amir Orakan.
Yeah. I mean,
he has an NIL deal.
Dude, the cheerleaders have socks with his face on it.
He has NIL money.
I'm team managers. I like managers. Shout out Braden Meyer, IUP's manager, one of my boys. He doesn't get this love, and now this klutz from McNeese walking out with a boombox is getting NIL. Where's Braden's NIL? I don't know.
Buffalo Wild Wings, Insomnia Cookies.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, glazing for no reason. Homie carries a speaker out of the locker room. I mean, like, so every time there's a Cinderella story, you think of Doug and the Peacocks. Like, everyone's like, okay, and then they pick Doug, and that's like, okay, everyone glazes him. Last year it was Jack Golke. Yep. Everyone glazes Jack Golke. This year it's this damn manager. Like, pick a player. This dude does nothing. He shines shoes and ties laces on the bench and gives Gatorades. I'm a little bit sick of him. I'll tell you what. He's getting a little too much glaze. He has NIL deals. The cheerleader's wearing socks with his face on it. I'm a little over it, but I think I have McNeese winning the next round as well. But that's not even my Sister Jean. That's not even my like craziest upset though. I still have Grand Canyon beating Maryland. I think he's glazed because he goes word for bar with some yeah.
Oh goodness. Good for him making the NIL bank, but I'm like, how did he get the NIL money in the first place? He goes to McNeese, small school in Louisiana. Like, I don't know how they found this kid. But here's the thing. There hasn't been like a singular, like major, like I know McNeese won yesterday, but the funny thing is the most marketable person on McNeese right now for the tournament standards is that cool character you're rooting for is this manager guy. Like, what other random player have we seen so far in the tournament that's like broken out?
Yeah,
like a Jack Golke, like a Doug Edert. I mean, other than that, yesterday the other kind of upset was BYU. I mean, Drake over Missouri.
That was upsetting to me. Listen, Missouri battled back at the end of that game. They really did. And for a second, I was like, okay, this is Missouri. But I'll tell you what, Nate. I think that what I've noticed. You look at teams like Clemson, and you look at teams like Missouri, this happened. The team that's favored, whenever the team that goes on the big run late in the game just never seems to win the game. It's like, okay, they're back, but then like they finally tie the game up, and then the other team just kind of just like, all right, and then it's back and forth, and then the right team wins. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Michigan almost sold the game as well. That scared me. That was, I think, a lot of people's 12-5 was Michigan.
Yeah,
that was a lot of people's 12-5.
I didn't like it. UC San Diego was really
I
hyped
thought
up
that was
going
a
in
square bet. Yeah.
they had like a big winning streak going into this. I
Yeah.
was seeing. They also had that Ani. I'm gonna mispronounce it. I'm gonna say his last name.
Memphis.
Tate Jones.
Memphis officially loses. Wow.
So Memphis goes down.
My bracket's toast.
So Colorado State. I think that's how many upsets is that now? Like 3. We haven't really had.
That is only my second loss in March Madness. So I'm sick. I could have a perfect bracket.
Today so far. So 78-70 Colorado State. Duke's whooping Mount St. Mary's. Nothing to talk about there. I turned that game off. Vanderbilt's up against St. Mary's. I think that was an upset we both picked, actually. 24-16. Yeah. Ole Miss is beating North Carolina. I have that on my TV right now, 11-2. Those are the only 3 games going on right now.
I have North Carolina going on a little bit of a run, Nate.
Yeah. I won you. Did I win you over with that?
Well, here's why I like it. So I'm on the plane ride back from Las Vegas, and I'm watching Selection Sunday, and I'm on Twitter. Obviously, UNC gets the nod. Everyone's up in arms saying, "Oh, Ohio State should have been. This team should have been." Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Michigan. Listen, UNC did not have a good year at all. I really don't even think they should have made the tournament.
I think 1-13 against Quad 1.
Yeah, I think it might be even worse than that. I think it was like yeah,
it was not good.
But they have such a chip on their shoulder because everyone was talking that loud, being like, "Oh, this team shouldn't be in that." Like, and then they put BTA in the playing game, and I was like, "Dude, they might have like a little chip on their shoulder." So honestly, I need this win out of North Carolina for my bracket to stay alive because I have them going on like 2 or 3 game win. Which would be brutal.
Going into the tournament, they only lost by 3 to Duke.
Yeah.
74-71. Then they, like you said, BTA to San Diego State. Right now they're down 11-2 to Ole Miss. So honestly, like I could easily see like North Carolina's that team. I personally think it would be hilarious if it happens because no one wants them in it. And then they're going to somehow go on this run.
That's why I took them. I was like, dude, they are like they are way more of an underdog than they should be.
Remember NC State, I think, last year?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Basically, there's always a 11 or 12 seed every year that does this. I know I picked Gonzaga to go deep in my one tournament, my one bracket. They think they're an 8 seed at the top of my head. Looking at what's happening today, though, Grand Canyon, Maryland. We are both very high on Grand Canyon. That game starts literally in a 20 minutes. Norfolk State, Florida. That's going to be belt ass. Troy, Kentucky. I don't care what we say up here. I am not picking Troy. Sorry, Nicholas. I am not picking Troy. Kentucky will win. New Mexico, Marquette, Akron, Arizona, Oklahoma, UConn. That's literally, I think, a coin flip right now. Xavier, Illinois, Bryant, and Michigan State, Liberty, Oregon. And then we had a couple games finish already. Colorado State just beat Memphis. Let's get to that in a little bit. Lipscomb lost to Iowa State. Nothing to talk about there. Baylor upsets 8 Mississippi State, 75-72. Very good game. But let's talk about Alabama's little bit of a scare. 90-81 against RMU. I didn't think RMU was going to win. I picked them as a joke in my one bracket. Thought it would have been funny. Alabama survives only by 9. I think they had a little bit more of a scare than what they thought. This was probably the closest a 1 or 2 seed's going to come to losing this first round.
Sure. Yeah. I agree with you, Nate.
I feel like not RMU, but Alabama is just going to look at this and just say they survived and advanced. I think that's kind of the mentality.
That's all you got to do. This isn't like a game of, okay, you got to cover your spread to advance.
Yep.
Bama was plus 22.5. Listen, it is unbelievably rare for like a team to cover 20 points in a March Madness game. That doesn't really happen a lot, Nate. It's I would say it's pretty profitable. Like Auburn, they were plus 35.5. I took the plus 35. It is tough to beat a team like that, especially in March. These teams are scrappy. You gotta know that team's going to win at the end of the day. But covering that big of a spread, all that matters to these guys. Okay, we won. Like sure, we should have killed them, and we looked a little worse than we thought. But again, that gives you a little bit more motivation to go out and kick the next person's ass.
That's exactly what they said on the post-game show after the game. They were like, Bama's mentality clearly after that is just survive and advance. Don't look back at it. Don't say, oh, no, we didn't do what the public thought we were going to do. We actually kept it close for something. No, survive in advance, move on. You're a number 2 seed. You finished 26-8 at the number 2 spot for a reason. They shot really good, in my opinion. They went 58% from the field. RMU went 42%. That's a big reason RMU couldn't hold up with them. They were chucking 3-pointers, shot 25%, 7 of 27. Bama was 6 of 21 for 28%. Both teams kind of struggled on that aspect. But, I mean, Bama was just a better shooting team. You could tell they were completely going to outplay RMU, especially on the rebound side of things. They just had the bigger guys. That's kind of how it rolls. So Bama does survive. I'm not really remembering who they would set up to play the next round. But looking at any games tonight, like, is there something that is sticking out to you as this team might be in trouble?
Let's see. Let's look at the scores. North Carolina is battling back, by the way. 14-10, the score. Might be in trouble, like a big team.
Yeah, is there a team today? Like, I know Nevin just brings up Vandy or St. Mary's. Vandy is
Oregon,
up against
honestly,
St. Mary right now.
Yeah, well, Vandy's going to win that ball game. They're already winning by 9. I don't think that's a crazy upset, though. I really don't. Duke is putting belt to ass. But, yeah, I think that the only one that I would really be worried about is Oregon. I think that's the biggest team that could get the 12-5.
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, that's too many 12-5s. Which is weird.
Yeah, I feel like this was a first round.
I don't even think Oregon was that good, though. Really, I don't. Yeah. I think 7.5 is a bad spread.
I feel like this was a really weird year to try to predict upsets because there's not. Yeah. It's a very top heavy tournament this year. Like we talked about, a lot of people complain you pick chalk. Why is there so many 1 seeds? Because the thing is, the 1 seeds this year, the 1s and 2s, are really good. They are awesome. So, yeah, I got the 4 games set up on my TV right now. They just ended the Colorado State Memphis. I got Vanderbilt St. Mary's on the bottom right corner, so that's good. You just look over there really quick. Comms. Other than that, anything else? I know Baylor just won against Mississippi State today by 3. That was a really good game. Anything really to talk about there? I know Hubbard.
Not really. I had Baylor. I like the Baylor Bears. Edgecombe is an unbelievable player for Baylor. I think that they should get a little bit more respect.
Yeah.
Than they're getting.
I know they were going off about how Josh Hubbard was having a really good game for Mississippi State. He shot 11 of 18, 4 for 10 from 3. They see 26 points. They still lost. Robert Wright, 19 points. Langston Love, 15. Edgecombe, 14. O'Meara, 12. Baylor's starting 5. 4 of them had over 12 points or higher. They were scoring, and this was probably one of the games of the first round, easily. So typical 8-9 matchup. It's a coin flip. We have one more of those today. It is UConn versus Oklahoma. UConn's number 8, Oklahoma's 9. Did we pick Oklahoma or UConn?
I picked Oklahoma. I don't know if you swayed me or not, but I really don't feel good about that pick. Oklahoma. I feel terrible about that pick. I think UConn's going to win that game.
Yeah.
Now, in hindsight now.
Okay, so, and then looking at, I don't know if there's any games tomorrow. Oh, no, second round tomorrow, a little bit of a preview here. I'll give you the matchup. Give me your winner. Okay. I'll start at the bottom. Tennessee, UCLA, 2v7.
Give me Tennessee.
Okay. Houston versus Gonzaga. If I had to pick, I'm picking Gonzaga. 1v8.
I'll go Houston.
Okay. 3 Wisconsin, 6 BYU.
Give me BYU, man.
I'm going to go Wisconsin. So we're 50-50 on that one.
Okay.
Auburn 1, Creighton 9. I'm going Tigers.
I'll go Tigers.
3 Texas Tech, 11 Drake.
Texas Tech.
Okay. Yeah, I'm rolling them. I like this matchup. 4 Texas A&M, 5 Michigan.
I like Michigan.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Wolverines. 2 St. John's, 10 Arkansas. I'm taking Arkansas.
This is going to be the best game to watch, I think. I'm going to take St. John's.
And then this is the game I think a lot of people are going to watch for your favorite guy in the universe, the manager from McNeese. Purdue number 4, McNeese 12. And I know
you probably Purdue. Yeah. I'm going to take Purdue.
I'm going to go Purdue as well.
I think this is gonna be like a humbling game.
Yeah.
I think shit's sweet.
I think tomorrow has a really good slate. And then Sunday, for now, there are not any games official. Only Alabama and Iowa State are set to play tomorrow. On Sunday, that is. Is that it for March Madness? Anything else to add?
No, yeah, I feel like we pretty much covered everything that's happened so far in March Madness thus far. I mean, it stops happening by the minute, so.
Yeah, we'll keep everyone updated there. They're probably watching too. But I don't know if you saw this. Aaron Rodgers was in Pittsburgh today. He was visiting the facilities.
Is it that damn picture?
No, it's not that picture. He was actually at the facilities today. Yeah, I can pull up the picture if you want to see him.
Yeah.
He was here. Here we go. Let's see here. Here. Where is it? There he is. He's in Pittsburgh.
Oh my God. It's that same damn picture.
Yeah.
Is there actually a picture of him?
It's Aaron Rodgers.
The one at the airport's the most unreal one ever.
Oh, goodness.
That was always the Brandon Ayuk picture. Ugh.
You know, I do want to cover what Nevin says really really quick about the McNeese coach accepting a job. I would hate that as a player to see.
That,
It's the day of the media. Like, I'm kind of curious if he's told his players. Like, they definitely know by now, but I'm curious if it's going to be
they know.
I'm curious if they're going to be like, is this going to be like a primetime thing where he's like, you want to come with me to NC State? You guys want to join? I would be shocked if it is. Someone said they were joking. I think it was Charles Barkley was joking. He should bring that manager with him to NC State. Like, honestly, at the era of NIL money. But yeah, it's a weird situation. I don't think it's right for the players. So, like, your coach accepted a job before March Madness, before your second tournament, your actual third tournament appearance, I think, since 2002, and you won a game, and they were worried, and I was kind of worried it was going to be a distraction for them all. Clearly wasn't, but I could easily see it being a distraction in round 2. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, he visited the Steelers today. He was at the facility for Jerry Dulac report.
He's not even my quarterback yet, and I'm already pissed off.
Same.
I'm sick of him. Like, I can't deal with him as my quarterback, Nate. I can't do it.
I don't think anyone can, and people are just desperate for it. No deal per Jerry Dulac. This is also Tom Pelissero. He was reporting, Diana Rossini reporting it, Schefter as well. No deal is done or imminent, of course. But Rodgers spent time with coaches. Another sign he's seriously considering playing his 21st season in Pittsburgh. Blah, 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 blah. This is the next Brandon Ayuk. It's going to be at the goal line. They're running on Rodgers' time, and like I could spend as little time on this as we can if we want. My thing with this that makes me angry, the Steelers of yesterday would not be wasting their time on Aaron Rodgers and waiting for him to say a decision. Cam Hayward said it perfectly. I think I sent you the clip. He was on his podcast, and he said, you either want to be a Steeler or you don't. If he wanted to be a Steeler, he'd be here right now. Like, what's the point of this? The Vikings clearly don't want him. They've already said no. If he's waiting on the Vikings, why are you waiting? The Giants, while the Giants are waiting, I mean, there's 2 options for him. Sure, it might work out in Pittsburgh, but if you're Aaron Rodgers right now and you had the decision to make between playing for the New York Giants or Pittsburgh Steelers, which team is in the better spot? Probably the Steelers. They have the better weapons. Why is it taking this long to make this decision? And this might be just me sounding like a spoiled little brat begging for him to make his decision quick. I don't want him here. I really don't. If this is how it's already drawing it out, he's just going to his darkness retreat. He's going to go to Laurel Caverns in Fayette County to go to his darkness retreat, sit in the cave, and contemplate his life decision about playing football. Then you see all these Steeler fans on social media say, he's a human being. He deserves to take his time. They're giving in to Aaron Rodgers' crap. This is what this is. They're going to do it all year.
I can't.
This is the one player we both hate, too. We've had so many conversations about how much we despise this guy. He's broken the New York Jets. And I forget who I was talking to about this yesterday. But, Danny, the fact of the matter is that if Aaron Rodgers was still a Jet, and if he was still there, Garrett Wilson, of all people, would have demanded a trade. Garrett Wilson. One of the most level-headed young receivers in the league who has yet to have troubles would have demanded a trade. They don't like each other. It was clearly in the Jets locker room. He doesn't like him. He bring in Devontae Adams. He was only throwing to him. So it's such a dumb situation. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, is this going to be done soon, or what's going on here?
I mean, I just got a notification from Adam Schefter about it, so let me try and pull that up here. But yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I don't want anything to do with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a clown. I don't even think he's a good quarterback anymore. Like, he had a bad year in New York. Now, if I'm a guy like Aaron Rodgers, I would be like, listen, I'm obviously at the at the tail end of my career, why would I move all the way to Pittsburgh? I literally have a place in New York. Let me just stay in New York and play 2 more years with the Giants and then retire, or a year with the Giants. Let's see. Here we go. Here's this.
Yeah, I have the tweet up right now.
I'll go ahead and share this. All right. So
here, I got it.
All right.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers spends about 6 hours at the Steelers training facility today, meeting with their coaches, said it was a possible visit, and unfortunately we'll stay in touch. So
yippee. Like, I don't understand. I talked to JJ about this last week. The Steelers and Mike Tomlin have preached the fact they want a mobile guy, and they let Justin Fields just walk for like $20 million a year, and now they're going to pay Aaron Rodgers like probably $35 million for 1 year.
Yeah.
I don't like, am I wrong in saying the Steelers of yesterday would not be doing this? Like, this guy's not even on the franchise right now, and they're just waiting for him. Like, he's going to be their QB1.
I think it's very disrespectful to Russ. I mean, sure, people like to hate on what Russ did for us. Dude, Russ played very good until those last 5 games when he played the 5 best teams in the entire NFL. He played the Bengals, Ravens, Chiefs, and the Super Bowl champion Eagles. Like, those are 5 of the best teams in the NFL, and he lost to them. Okay, like I would have liked to see a few wins, but like you can't knock a guy to a sense for losing to the best teams in the NFL. It's like, I don't know.
I it's starting to get to the point where I would rather say Aaron Rodgers, you can just go to New York. I'd love Russ to come back. I have my ups and downs with him, but here's the thing with Russ. I think he should just say, you know what? He clearly knows this. He's the last option for the Steelers right now. He should just move on if I was him. I know they just signed his buddy DK Metcalf, and he has some positive vibes with him too. Like, I'd love to see that connection. He was hitting George Pickens pretty well this past season, but they've clearly said to Russ, and they said in the postseason conference with Rooney, he's basically said, we are bringing one of these 2 guys back, Fields or Russ. That's what we want to do. They let Justin Fields go, which was probably the one they wanted to get.
Apparently now they're working on an agreement.
When did this happen? Just now.
Yeah. Not from Schefter, but someone else said it.
Well, while we wait for that to happen, because I'm so excited for that. Basically, what I was saying is poor Russell Wilson, good for him on meeting with other teams, the Giants, the Browns. Could you imagine if Russ goes to the Browns and takes Kenny Pickett's job for a second year in a row? Like, I want you to imagine this. Like, imagine a Thursday night football game. It might be Mason Rudolph versus Kenny Pickett in Cleveland, Ohio on a random Monday or Thursday night. Could that be cinema?
Yeah, that'd be gas. Kenny Pickett's still not going to start. I don't know why, dude. If I'm Kenny Pickett, I would have gone to Tennessee, somewhere where I could start maybe. I think Kenny Pickett's a better quarterback than Will Levis, and you can debate a wall there. I mean, Will Levis is terrible. I know Kenny's not good himself, but yeah,
such a random trade.
Yeah,
DTR for Kenny Pickett and a pick. So the Eagles kind of won that trade. They got a pick and DTR just for Kenny Pickett. Kind of odd. Honestly, though, DTR, I know he won't play, but DTR in an Eagles jersey kind of just seems like it fits.
Tough, yeah.
But Kenny Pickett, Cleveland Browns. How about that? Danny, do we think we're going to actually have an answer who the quarterback is by this next week? Or are we going to be...
I mean, here's the thing. The Steelers are just... But I think we have first dibs over the Giants.
Yeah.
Dude, I just don't want Rodgers at all. And I know I've talked to people that want him. Why? Why do you want a guy who is just such a cancer? We already have 2 receivers that are cancers themselves. Get a guy like Russ who just is a level-headed dude and just wants to go there and win. Rodgers is just going to cause so much crap.
No, he hasn't chosen a team.
He's not chosen a team.
He visited Pittsburgh today. He had a nice little visit with Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith and Omar Khan. So this guy, I can't stand him. He like you said it perfectly. He's toxic, and I get why people like him so much. 4-time MVP, good for him. He's 41 years old. He's in his 40s. He can't run.
He's not even like he's not this is not like a sweepstakes to where it's like, oh, who's gonna get Aaron Rodgers? This is not a sweepstakes at all. This is not like when there's when there's like a say Justin Jefferson's on the free agent market. Like this is no sweepstakes. Yeah, Nev says well. Tomlin was the Steelers met with Jalen Milroe. They had a dinner with him.
They had dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this one.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing about this I despise. This is just Mike Tomlin kind of being a hypocrite with how he's talked. He's said so many times he wants a mobile QB that they can develop. They let Justin Fields go to the Jets for cheaper than what they want to re-sign Aaron Rodgers for. Yeah. Now, I'm kind of curious if the Steelers are just going to say screw it and draft a quarterback this year. Honestly. Like, I'm 50-50.
Get Rush and draft Milroe. Get Rush, draft Milroe in the second round.
I think it's going to be Jackson Dart. A lot of people he's been surging up draft boards. I prefer Dart over Milroe just because Milroe didn't have the greatest year at Alabama, in my honest opinion. But I feel like Milroe's the type of QB they would love to develop. And the horror story that I know you don't want, but I don't want also. Some people have been proposing the idea, what if Shedeur Sanders falls to the Steelers?
Oh, no.
You know what's crazy? That's the guy Tomlin would want. Yeah. That's the guy. That's the Steelers' mobile QB they would love to develop. Because realistically, Danny, let me look up the draft order, and I'll read you, because JJ and I went through this. It's actually kind of interesting to look at. I want to read you the top 10 on this list. Which one of these teams would need Shedeur Sanders right now? Okay. Let's go here. Crap, I can't find the draft order now. Where is it? I wish they would just show you. Okay, Tennessee Titans. Are they going to draft a quarterback?
They should.
Is it Cam Ward or Shedeur? I think it's Cam Ward.
Cam Ward.
Okay. Yeah. Cleveland Browns.
Don't draft one.
Okay. Number 3, New York Giants.
Because
they're in on the market on Russ.
Get Shedeur.
Do you think they're getting Shedeur?
Yeah.
Well, besides that, the Patriots, they have Drake May. They don't need one. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence. Raiders just traded for Geno Smith. The Jets just signed Justin Fields. The Panthers have Bryce Young they're trying to develop. The Saints, I could kind of see a little bit. I'm curious what that plan is with Derek Carr. And then the Bears, Caleb, there's the top 10. There might be like 2 fits. The Saints possibly, and then the Giants.
Raiders got their quarterback. They got Geno Smith.
Yeah. I'm curious about how that's going to go, honestly.
And as of right now, our starting quarterback is Mason Rudolph.
Listen, if they want to be like mid for a year and like try to get a better draft pick, I could easily see the route they're going to try to get the better draft pick for when the draft's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Just so they can say, oh, we drafted the next franchise QB in Pittsburgh, right in front of Acrisure Stadium, which I will be there for.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to go for all of them. Looking at, Ole Miss is putting, North Carolina is getting cooked right now. 30-16.
Oh, no.
Wait, North Carolina's about to shoot something. No.
Never mind. No.
Hey, Duke's winning 63-38 to Mount St. Mary's. Pretty great game. Make it 65-38.
Oh, man. No.
Okay, well, anything else to add about Aaron Rodgers?
No, I don't think so, Nate.
Just wasting our time.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
MLB. Yep. It is less than a week away, right? This week it's coming up?
Yep. It is about here.
Nate, who's the teams this year? I mean, I know you're more of an MLB guy than I am, but give me is it just cookie cutter the Dodgers?
They're the favorite. They have to be. They have a great roster.
They're like minus to win it all.
The Dodgers have a great roster. They've done even the Korean guy they just signed. They sent down to AAA. They don't even need him.
Yeah.
They just signed him. Their lineup: Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy, Will Smith, Michael Conforto, who they really didn't need, but they still brought in.
Unreal.
Tommy Edman and Andy Pages.
Is this the best baseball lineup ever?
And let me add this: their rotation. You ready for this?
This is the most disgusting thing ever. Go for it.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, Blake Snell, who's their pitch starter number 3. Blake Snell, by the way. Tyler Glasnow, Dustin May. Those are their 5-man. Bullpen.
And Shohei.
Shohei's not projected to pitch yet. They put him in the lineup right now. But he's going to definitely pitch this year. Bullpen-wise, they signed the 2 top relievers, Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates. They have Blake Trinan. This is a great rotation, a great bullpen, a great lineup. I could see Shohei going over 50-50, and this is the athlete I will glaze the most. It's like you with LeBron. It's me with Shohei Ohtani. I think the Dodgers have put themselves in a great position to win. If there's an AL team I'm looking at, honestly, this might be a really big hot take. It's not the New York Yankees. It is not them. The Yankees, I thought, had an okay offseason, but a certain team, they still have Aaron Judge. They traded for Cody Bellinger. They signed Paul Goldschmidt. They traded for Jazz Chisholm last year. I like their rotation's kind of okay. They had iffy stuff with Marcus Stroman. It was kind of, will he be there? Will he not? A team in the AL that I actually really enjoyed, I don't think they're going to win it, but I really liked a lot of their moves, was surprisingly the Boston Red Sox.
Wow, okay.
They went out. They brought in Alex Bregman. They won the Alex Bregman sweepstakes. They stole him from Detroit. Detroit wanted him a lot. The Cubs were trying. Bregman goes to the Red Sox. They have a great, in my opinion, looks like they're going to be calling up Christian Campbell. That's one of the top prospects in baseball. He's projected to be doing really good. He's projected on Fangraphs right now. Jarren Duran, Rafael Devers, Alex Bregman, Tristan Casas, Trevor Story, maybe he has a bounce back. And then the bottom of the lineup, like Abreu and Rafael are their guys. But the rotation is what they did the best. Garrett Crochet, they trade for him. Tanner Hoke, he's good. They signed Walker Buehler. And, I mean, it's changed every so often. They just signed Aroldis Chapman this offseason, too. They did some very underrated things. I know the Rangers had a pretty underrated spring offseason as well. But I do think, I think the Red Sox are a sneaky team to maybe just sneak into the playoffs. Other teams that I like Baltimore, but the thing is with the Orioles, can they actually do what they can't do and win a playoff game? Their lineup's so young. They didn't have the offseason I wanted the Orioles to have. They had a offseason where they should have went out and said, you know what, let's do it. But, it's the small market team mentality. They're not going to spend money. They just got new ownership. They're not going to spend. The best thing they did was getting Tyler O'Neill, which I wanted on the Pirates. But, of course, both those teams don't spend money. The Orioles have bigger balls than what Bob Nutting has. So they said, screw it. Let's give this guy a shot. They brought in Gary Sanchez, Ramon Laureano, all that. Then their pitching rotation's iffy already. The best thing that they did, they brought in Tomoyuki Sugano and Charlie Morton as their 2 pitchers. And the thing about that I don't understand is they have it all there. They have all these young guys, but they brought in these older guys that aren't going to really – they're just veterans for a staff. Yeah. This Orioles team could have done a lot more to get better. They do have some young guys coming up. And the Orioles were a team you could have paired if a hypothetical trade idea. People always love these trade situations. The Orioles and Pirates are 2 teams that could work very well together to trade. We saw it last year. The Pirates and Orioles made a trade last year. Patrick Riley for Billy Cook. The Pirates need hitting. The Orioles need pitching. They flip-flopped. Here's a prospect for a prospect. A lot of Pirates fans kind of wanted that this year. The Pirates needed outfield help. There's a certain Orioles guy, Heston Kjerstad, who's kind of stuck right there on the bench. He could have been a guy that they could have flipped maybe, and I didn't really want this, for a Jared Jones. That could have been the ace or an ace for eventual outfield help. That could have been a very solid outfielder that's good for a pitcher that's good. Young player for young player. Flip-flop. And now what it is Jared Jones is going to probably be getting Tommy John. So both those teams, honestly, didn't really have my favorite off seasons. Honestly, the Orioles, I know they have a great lineup, great rotation. I give them a dud, in my honest opinion, because they could have done a lot more. Is there any other team that kind of you have questions about?
In the AL or anywhere?
Anywhere.
There's a lot of you look at the AL, Nate. I think this is just a weak league. Listen, You have the Yankees, who I think took a huge step back, missing Juan Soto. I think they regressed a lot. And then you just have a lot of mid teams that are going to make a push. I mean, you talk about the Red Sox, they're like there's going to be a team that's like, that becomes really good. It's going to be the Royals. It's going to be the Tigers, the Guardians, maybe the Rangers again. Like it's going to be one of those like little floater teams that just has like a crazy year and makes it to the World Series, because there's no other team really in the AL that has the payroll in the roster like the New York Yankees.
Keep an eye on the Tigers.
I agree. I do like the Tigers. Tariq Skubal had an unbelievable year last year, but
brought back Jack Flaherty too.
But they lack hitting. Javier Baez can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. He's bad.
I'd argue this. Riley Green. Love Riley Green.
I like Riley Green. I really do. I think he's a good hitter. He's a good righty, or excuse me, good lefty. But yeah, I like what I see out of Riley Green. But listen, the Yankees made a lot of nice moves. They got Paul Goldschmidt, right, and Cody Bellinger. I think those are their two biggest moves. And I don't know, man. I think it's tough to compete with the Yankees, but I don't think the Yankees make the World Series. I think they get knocked off by one of these like floater teams. Like the Twins could pop off. The Guardians, they had a really good year last year. I like what I see out of the Guardians. I think they have a lot of good guys. But then the NL, Nate, is just so stacked.
I'll say this before we get to the NL. There's another AL team that kind of sticks up to me. Surprisingly, it's the Houston Astros. The Astros will never go away. They as much as people hate them, they signed Christian Walker to play first. Good for them. And they made a very good trade. They got rid of Kyle Tucker before he was going to leave in free agency. They bring in Isaac Paredes, who is going to rake at their new name of a ballpark. I can't think of it at the top of my head. Basically, I'm going to still call him Minute Maid. He is going to rake in Houston because it's a very short left field, and he pulls the ball to left field. Mm-hmm. He's projected a 3.9 wins above replacement, 787 OPS. That was going to be better than what he was with the Rays last year and the Cubs. He is going to rake. Pitching-wise, Framber Valdez, very good. Hunter Brown, good. Ronel Blanco, good. Hayden Wesneski, they traded for. He's okay. Spencer Arrighetti, he can be good. The Astros, in my opinion, have a very underrated chance to do this.
And Altuve's in the outfield now?
Yeah, the little guy's going to be playing left field.
Yeah, that's
as of now. I don't know if that's actually official yet. Let me check their projection. Actually, yeah, he is projected to play left field on opening day. They're moving Mauricio Dubon to second base. Kind of interesting how they're doing that.
And then we look in the NL. Listen to how stacked this NL is. Obviously, you have the Dodgers, the best team in baseball, possibly the best baseball team we've seen in the last 10, 20 years ever assembled, the Dodgers. You got, even in that division, you've got the Padres, who are a very good, they're a World Series contending team we saw last year. The Giants are good. The Diamondbacks are good. Then you go to the NL Central. Really, it's only the Brewers and
the Cubs.
The Cubs can be pretty good as well, but the Pirates, Cardinals, and Reds are long shots. And then the NL East, man. This division's nuts. The Braves are amazing. The Mets are very, very going to be very good. Now they have Juan Soto. They got a good pitching staff. The Phillies are always going to be good with their roster. The NL is stacked. It is stacked. And I don't know who comes out of the NL. I think it's tough to not see the Dodgers come out of the NL, but the Mets are sneaky. The Mets are sneaky.
Can I say
Phillies are good too?
I'll say this about the Mets before I cut you off, because I know JJ's at the bottom of our screen just looking at us. I'll say this about the Mets before he hops on, because they'll probably love the Mets here. I don't think they did enough. They added to the lineup. They did all that they could. They did nothing with the pitching, in my opinion. The pitching they added. Clay Holmes is their projected number one. He was a reliever for the rest of his career. I do not like pitcher number one, projected number one. Griffin Canning's number two projected a 0.4 WAR on Fangraphs, a 4.60 ERA. Kodai Senga right now is projected guy number 5. He has some injury concerns. He should be still projected number 1. David Peterson, Tyler McGill. That's not really a great rotation. I know a lot of Mets fans wanted more. And they have some injury concerns too. You forget Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas, who they signed.
Yeah.
He has a lot of injury
Manaea was their best.
Yeah, Manaea is their best. He has a strained oblique. He just happened on February 22nd. I'm presuming he'll be ready for early season. But Frankie Montas, who the Mets signed, I didn't like that move. I didn't like it for the money. I know Steve Cohen has a lot of money. He gets hurt so much. The Reds signed him last year. He was injured. They traded him to the Brewers. He was better with the Brewers. Frankie Montas, his entire career has injury concerns. And I know how the Mets are. They have injury concerns every single year.
The Mets will Met. Yeah.
I love the lineup, though. I'm happy they brought back Pete Alonso. I think Mark Vientos had an amazing year last year. Jesse Winker, I'm 50-50 on, honestly. Jose Siri can be good, but he's not projected to have a good OPS this year. They traded for him. Brett Beatty's Brett Beatty. A lot of Mets fans want him out. He has a 710 projected OPS. Luis Torrens. It's basically the top of the lineup, and hope and pray you get the best out of Brett Beatty, Luis Torrens, Jose Siri, and Jesse Winker. Because Mark Vientos will be good. Brandon Nimmo will be good. Pete Alonso will hit you home runs. Juan Soto's really good, but here's my thing about that. Good on the Mets for doing that. That contract's going to be $800 million plus in a couple years.
Yeah.
No player, I don't care, even if it's Ohtani, these contracts will always be the worst in baseball because you're stuck with that the rest of his career.
Yep.
And Steve Cohen, the Mets are blessed. The Dodgers are blessed. They are a big market. They're going to shell out these contracts. They won't come back to bite them. But like, this is why small market teams can't do this because they can't, like, even not just the Pirates, the Reds can't, the Brewers can't. The Cubs like to act like they're a small market team, but they're not because they don't like to spend money much. The Marlins can't. The Rockies have done it in the past, but they don't like to. The Washington Nationals, even though they're kind of mid-major along with the Diamondbacks, they don't really like to give out these contracts, even though the Diamondbacks actually did it with Corbin Burns a little bit. There's teams that don't like to do this because they just physically can't. The Mets, Dodgers, Phillies, and all those other teams can sign these guys to big bucks. And I know Steve Cohen has the dollars. The Dodgers have the dollars.
Oh, he does.
I still don't like the money he's going to be making for that much. Because if he gets hurt, that's a waste. That's a waste of money.
And
I mean,
here's a hot take for you, Nate. I think there's a reality where Juan Soto isn't even the best player on the Mets.
I like Lindor.
I think Lindor is sneakily one of the best players on the Mets. He's a stud. I mean, there was a debate that he should have won MVP last year, and he was had an amazing year last year. Juan Soto's good, but we've seen Juan Soto just kind of fall off a cliff and not be able to hit the ball to save his life. Now, towards the end of the season with the Yankees, Soto definitely heated up, but I like Lindor. Soto's probably the best player on this team, but you cannot forget about Francisco Lindor, man. He is a stud, and he's had one of the best years of his career last year.
And I'll throw JJ on here in a couple seconds after I say this sentence. I do agree with what you're saying about Juan Soto. I think he's still going to be really good. Don't get me wrong. I just think Lindor still needs to be the captain of this team. I don't care how much Juan Soto is making.
Yeah.
Soto's already on the fourth team of his career. It's not his fault, by the way. Nationals traded him because they're not going to pay him. The Padres traded him because they weren't going to pay him. The Yankees weren't able to re-sign him. Because here's the thing, I'll give the Yankees credit. They just said to themselves, we're not going to pay you over $750 million. Sorry to say it. Because the Yankees turned that Juan Soto money into other things.
Yeah.
They turned it into other pieces that they could do. But yeah, I think Francisco Lindor, sure, he could have won MVP. Sorry, Shohei Ohtani's winning that award. 50-50 only happened once. I get why Lindor plays the field. Can't help it. But Ohtani, you can't just disrespect it. This might be my glaze too, but like goat stat.
I want to ask you about something, Nate.
Then we'll throw JJ on. After this question, we'll throw JJ on.
Sure. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Pirates for a second.
Let's do this thing.
Jared Jones now has elbow discomfort, Nate.
Here. I'll throw JJ on while we talk about here because he's just sitting there.
I'll have JJ on for a little bit.
What's up, JJ? Let us talk about this.
JJ, welcome. 50th episode of The Final Whistle.
It's good to be back here. I'm very happy that you guys finally got to 50. Very proud of y'all. But I cannot sit here and listen to two of my company guys disrespecting the flagship team of this channel.
We're not disrespecting.
Oh, you are. You
How
100% are. Okay. First and foremost, saying that Steve Cohen did not do enough this offseason.
He didn't.
You clearly did not understand the Mets' approach this offseason when it comes to starting pitching. David Stearns does not want to pay 30-year-old 7-year contracts. Look at what the Yankees paid for Max Fried. You would have had to pay Corbin Burns 8-year contracts. You would have had to pay guys like Jack Flaherty 5-year contracts. Like, Stearns does not want to pay that much in years for starting pitching. I like what they did. Do I wish they could have kept Luis Severino? Absolutely. But the Athletics threw him a bag. And for you to say that Juan Soto is not the best player on this team, what are we doing? As much as I love Lindor, he is, without a shadow of a doubt, the captain of this team. No question about it. By the way, this Soto move does not happen without Lindor. This was Lindor's guy. Lindor wanted to go get Soto. And when Captain Lindor says something, you do it.
Soto wasn't in MVP talks last year.
He was third in MVP voting.
Yeah,
he was in the American League. He was third.
Judge was second, I think. Oh no, Judge won.
It was Judge, Bobby, and then
Bobby Witt Jr.
And the
Soto had the best season of his career last year.
Lindor had a better season last year.
That's where I disagree with you, because listen, I love Lindor to death, and I'm a diehard Mets fan. You can tell by my hat, you can tell by my background.
Lindor had a better season.
Talking about impact wise. I could potentially say that
fielding.
Fielding 100%. And here's the thing, Nate, you're gonna say that Ohtani deserved the MVP, which I'm not gonna say he didn't.
100%.
But you take Francisco Lindor off the Mets, we are nowhere close to the playoffs.
Exactly.
You take Ohtani off the Dodgers,
you take Juan Soto off the Yankees. You take Juan Soto off the Yankees last year, I think they still go to the World Series.
No. They wouldn't be in the World Series if it wasn't for Juan Soto. Watch back the playoff run, and Aaron Judge gets injured for 2.5 months.
Judge was horrible in the playoffs.
Who stepped up when he was out? Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Juan Soto.
And one of their best hitters was Austin Wells.
And you want to know who was their best hitter besides Giancarlo Stanton? Juan Soto. Soto performs in the playoffs because he wants to get under your skin. And that's exactly what he does.
Don't get it wrong. I think that Soto's a better player than Lindor. But I'm saying on that team, I think Lindor has more command. Lindor does more for the team than Soto will, and I think that the contract wise, that bears something into it, because you're a $700 million man. Now you've got some expectations that you have never had before in your entire career playing baseball since T-ball. You've never had these expectations of, okay, I need to literally play my best baseball. I'm playing in front of the New York Mets fan base, one of the most toxic fan bases in the entire. He just
played in front of the Yankees fan base.
True. He did just play.
He just played in the Bronx.
True. But he wasn't $700 million. Can you imagine?
Do you know how much they offered him? 16 years, 760.
And it didn't happen. So if it did, he would have more expectations with this money, and he'd be cooked.
I'll tell you why. It's crazy to think about. The Mets weren't even the richest team that offered him. It was the Dodgers. He chose the Mets over the Dodgers because he looks at the Mets as family. So much so, they literally put out a documentary on YouTube called The Pursuit, the story of how the Mets got Juan Soto, which I'm going to watch after this episode, and I think you guys should too. Very good read, and I was very impressed with the material. But, Nate, I can't sit here and let you disrespect the rotation the way you did.
Can I say what I said?
Clay Holmes is not the number one. Let's make that very clear.
I'm on Fangraphs right now. That is the projected number one guy.
Fangraphs are liars. Don't trust Fangraphs.
Clay Holmes.
JJ,
the big acquisition,
who has a better
JJ.
Rotation?
Who has a better
rotation, JJ? The Pittsburgh Pirates or the New York Mets?
New York Mets, 100%.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, JJ.
I want to hear what he says.
No question about it.
Let me just say this. Here's my thing about
that's ridiculous.
I love Paul. Don't get me wrong. I love Paul.
Mitch Keller solo your entire lineup.
Did Jones just get Tommy John, or am I tripping?
No,
it's not Tommy John.
It's
gonna be Tommy John.
It's gonna be Tommy John.
If you're seeking a second opinion, like Garrett Cole, it's
Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller would be the best. Would be the best pitcher on your rotation.
Listen, I've been saying I want the Mets. I've been saying I want the Mets to get Mitch Keller forever, but they
not happening.
I remember JJ when we were broadcast in New York. I pranked JJ. I told him that, oh my God, the Mets just traded for Mitch Keller, and he was freaking out.
I flipped out because that's my guy. I love Mitch Keller. Because it is something the
God.
Mets would do. It is something they would have done, which get Mitch Keller. But
Oh, goodness.
the reason that Clay Holmes is the number one is because Mendoza is realizing opening day does not mean jack shit anymore. So why not give Clay Holmes an opportunity? And by the way, his numbers this spring, his ERA was a 0.93. The Yankees begged him to develop a changeup when he was over there. His first year with the Mets, not even first week, he's got a changeup. Less than a week after starting in spring ball, he had a changeup. And it's one of the best pitches in baseball, the kick change. It's very solid, and if you'll see it if you take a look at it. But also, you look further into our rotation. Was I a fan of the Frankie Montas signing? Absolutely not. I hated it. I wanted Jack Flaherty because it cost us the same amount of money. But when you look at our farm system, I have a feeling one of those guys, whether it's Brandon Sproat, Max Kranick, or any one of our starting pitchers, will probably get the call to be maybe a 4 or 5 starter. The Mets are running a 6-man rotation this year. And the reason that I mention this is because Fangraphs is not always right. Let's just keep it a buck. And also, the Alvarez injury is only going to be, he'll probably be back in like the beginning of May. But Nate, I did some thinking earlier this morning. I know you're obviously a huge baseball fan and Danny's getting into it. What I have in front of me right now is a list of all the MLB teams and basically a tier list. So I think it would be a pretty good idea to close the show since we are on a baseball topic and opening day is next week.
I say we hold on for the baseball tier list for another day. Make that a whole thing. We've only got a few.
We gotta do it right before. We gotta do it right before opening day.
I mean, we have another episode.
How does Tuesday sound?
Maybe, but
Tuesday,
you never know.
Yeah,
Can I talk about the Pirates?
Well, we're gonna talk about the Pirates here for a second.
Dan
and I were gonna talk about the Pirates.
Listen. I'm going deeper into the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm learning more about that team, so I have a decent understanding about how they're doing. Hopefully, I see you guys in Pittsburgh when I do make the trip to PNC Park. Hopefully, it's a Paul Skeens day because I want to see that place packed. I get nostalgic when I see PNC Park packed back to the all black era. In 2013, 2014, 2015, the MLB is better when the Pittsburgh Pirates are in the postseason.
Hey, I was at the game where Jacob Stallings hit a walk-off of Edwin Diaz. It was the greatest day of my life.
Fuck you.
Greatest day of my life.
I was talking good about your team, but now you're going to throw that in there.
The stupid 7-line army was behind me, and I laughed at them as they left it.
Oh, by the way,
hilarious.
That's the game I'm going to is with the 7-line army. So you'll have to deal with them and me.
What's the 7-line army?
It's a stupid fan base that travels. They all wear orange. They sell out all the seats, and then
not just orange. Sometimes we'll wear blue. Depends on the game. But yeah, you know when you play MLB The Show and you see that giant area of all orange at Citi Field?
Yeah.
That's the 7-line. They're basically a better version of, how do I describe this? What's like a traveling fan base that sets up these trips?
I don't think of any other ones.
There's definitely some other ones. Like, don't the Steelers have something like that?
No.
They just show up in droves.
They just show up because Steelers fans are everywhere.
Same with the Met fan base. But yeah, when you go into the Pittsburgh Pirates, you think, and by the way, you mentioned these owners can't afford to spend. It's not that they can't afford to spend.
They don't want to.
They're cheap as fuck. That's not my problem. Like, I want the Pirates to get themselves a nice owner because God forbid Paul Skeens continues to dominate and you basically have to pay him, but you can't afford him. You either trade him to the Yankees or Mets or he signs with the Dodgers. Like, it's a pick your poison situation, but what do you think going into this Pirates team? Because I ranked them as improving on the upswing after they had, 77 wins last year?
76.
76. So you're making some progress.
Back-to-back 76 and 86.
Progress.
This is a team that I think I have honestly going 81 and 81. Or they could win 84 games, or they could just win 76 again. It's a team built off question marks, especially the bottom of the order. And let me just say here, because we are running out of time, like it's a team based off the pitching rotation. I know Jared Jones is hurt, which sucks. They bring in Andrew Heaney. He had an awful spring, but I mean, Jose Quintana had an awful spring.
There's a big hole at first base.
Yeah, the thing is, Spencer Horwitz is going to be back in like a week or two. So
wasn't that like your major sign? Wasn't that like the big signing for the Pirates?
It was a trade. It was a trade.
Yeah, the big move, Spencer Horwitz.
Free agent wise, the free agent. Okay, so the lineup projected is this: Tommy Pham, who they added, Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz, Andrew McCutchen, who they brought back, Joey Bart, who's honestly I'm grown on, DJ Stewart, they have projected to play first base. I personally don't want that. Nick Gonzalez, Brian Hayes, Isaiah Kiner, Falefa.
You say DJ Stewart?
Yeah, they signed him to a minor league deal.
And you were shitting on my lineup, but you were shitting on my lineup, but we're talking about
not.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
You said our back half sucks.
Yeah, it does.
By the way, I'm pretty sure Luis Torrens hit 5 bombs last year. He was raking with us. But go on, continue about your first.
Congratulations. So the thing about this Pirates team the thing that kind of sticks out, it's very top heavy and it's a lot of question marks. The only players that don't really have questions surrounding them because you know what you're going to get. Brian Reynolds is going to give you a good year. O'Neal Cruz is a guy with 30-30, potentially hit 20-20 last year. Him and Ellie De La Cruz are both freaks of nature, and they're both in the NL Central. They're practically the same guy, besides the fact that I think O'Neal Cruz strikes out a little bit less. Andrew McCutchen's going to be Andrew McCutchen. He'll hit you almost 20 home runs. He'll give you a 700 OPS. That's fine. Joey Bart, honestly, is a question mark for me because he had the breakout year last year. He was awful with the Giants. He surprisingly figured it out with the Pirates. He's closer to home. He's projected a 704 OPS. I think it will be higher, just slightly. He's projected to be good. I'm not even going to look at DJ Stewart because he won't even be first base. Nick Gonzalez is a question mark. Can he continue what he did last year and grow? I think he actually can. He's projected 2.2. Okay, Brian Hayes is a question mark because his back. He's projected actually to have a good WAR, but a 689 OPS. I think he could push 700 with the new hitting coach. And Isaiah Kiner Falefa, I don't see as the shortstop of the future. They traded for him. I don't see that. The question with the Pirates is catching room. Joey Bart, Endy Rodriguez, Henry Davis. They already sent Jason DeLay, who I thought was going to be the backup, down to AAA. He's just the guy they're going to keep sending up and down. Then Henry Davis and Endy Rodriguez are currently fighting for the backup role because Joey Bart is the starter. He earned it. With Endy and Henry Davis has so far not been a good first overall pick. Spencer Torkelson and Tigers fans, they'll say the same thing because his OPS hasn't been good. Yes, he'll hit home runs, but Henry Davis just has not figured out. And it's funny, this guy hit 2 home runs off of Shohei Ohtani like 2 years ago.
What's wrong with Henry Davis? Because I've been watching him play, and he's very frustrating.
The new hitting, the previous hitting coach broke him. They
signed by the way, coach. You mentioned McCutchen for a second. I do want to stop you for a second. Let's not forget he's also going to go off during Anthrocon. But continue.
Of course. But Endy Rodriguez, of course, hurt last year. He had Tommy John of his own, so the yearly Tommy John for the Pirates. This is now there's been 3 at least in the past year. So he goes. That was a catcher of the future. He's projected, honestly, to be the backup right now. Henry Davis could get that role and still make the roster, but I could see him going to AAA or Endy. It's kind of 50-50 who you want to send down. But the backup, honestly, they could just use Endy because he has an OPS in spring training. I think in the thousands or higher. He's raking. Henry Davis is also raking in spring training right now. Thing about this Pirates team, I know we're running out of time here. The question marks, if they all go right, the max this team could go is second place. They're not winning the division at all because they have to stay healthy. You have to hope and pray the pitching rotation stays healthy and they pitch like they did last year because last year the strength was the bullpen and the bad thing was the rotation. It was flip-flopped. The bullpen at the halfway point fell apart. The pitching rotation was the stuff that thrived.
I don't know if I can deal with Colin Holderman again. I can't do another year of Holderman.
We'll take him back.
Now
we should have never traded him.
They did make a couple sneaky free agent moves and a waiver pickup I did like. They bring in Caleb Ferguson. I liked that one. They needed lefties. They brought in a Tim Meza. I like that. These are 2 guys that were really good in 2023. Had sluggish 2024s, but that's teams like the Pirates have to do. Joey Wentz they traded for in September in waivers. Tanner Rainey they have making the roster. He's having a really good spring. And then they also, this is honestly one of the most underrated pickups they made, was Justin Lawrence off of waivers. This is why a lot of people like him. He had an inflated ERA with the Rockies last year because you think it's Coors Field. He's going to get shelled. Not good. He's projected with the Pirates to a 439. Not bad. He's a righty reliever, 30 years old. He's been solid in the past. He's a flamethrower. I like that as a sneaky Pirates bullpen move. But with the lineup, if all the questions go right, this could be an 84-win team.
You forgot somebody. You forgot somebody in the bullpen. What is going on with David Bednar?
A lot. It's just the reliever thing.
Does he got the yips or something? Like, what's been going on with
There was a thing last year he was tipping pitches, they think.
All right. Well, as long as he gets back in the groove. I mean, you guys should be fine. I think because of how weak the NL Central is, you have a shot at winning the division. Let's make it very clear before we close out. The Pirates cannot get in as a wild card. Impossible. With how
It is
good the
possible.
No, because you
It
have
is.
the
'Cause
Braves.
here's the thing.
You have potentially the Braves, Phillies, Mets, Cubs, Brewers, Padres, Diamondbacks, Giants.
If
That's
the Pir-
8 teams I just named.
If the Pirates can win 85 to 84 games, they could try to get in that wild card mix easily.
There's going to be multiple
Because
90
those
win
teams are all
wild
going to
card
kill
teams.
each other.
Yeah, there's going to be 90 wild card win teams. 3
The
of them.
NL is much better, and the Pirates have the better chance. Like, I agree with you with this, of winning the division to make the playoffs. And the thing about the NL Central is it's very mid. The Cubs have had the better offseason, but they could still be the Cubs and underperform. They're already 0-2, by the way. The Milwaukee Brewers, yes, they're the Brewers. They just lost Devin Williams. They brought in Nestor Cortez from the Yankees that trade, which I think was very underrated, by the way, because the Brewers are a pitching factory. They make anyone good. Thing with the Brewers,
we took their president of baseball operations.
The Brewers always figure it out. It doesn't matter how bad their team is. They play in a good ballpark. I call it the House of Horrors because every time the Pirates go there, it's awful.
Hey, that's me with Atlanta. That's my House of Horrors.
The Brewers figure things out. They could be a 90-plus win team easily, besides losing some of their best pitching pieces. The Reds and Pirates, I'll always say this, are going to be fighting for third, and everyone's saying the Cardinals are going to be awful this year. They could still be an 80-plus win team because last year
they got a decent young squad.
Last year the Cardinals were awful. Well, they were supposed to be awful, and they finished with a winning record. The St. Louis Cardinals could be solid. It makes no sense. The Pirates and Reds are practically the same team. 2 solid rotations, a lineup full of question marks, and 2 freaks of nature in Ellie O'Neill. Those are the 2 same teams. Like the Reds, Hunter Green, you have him. Pirates, Paul Skeens, you have him. 2 solid rotations, lineups filled with question marks, and like I said, freaks of nature. So it could go anywhere. I'll talk about this more later, but we got to go.
Looking forward to that MLB deep dive.
JJ,
boys.
Thank you for coming in today, my man.
Thank you, JJ.
We'll see you later. Me and Nate are going to wrap up here. Well, Nate, 50 episodes.
Yep.
50 episodes strong. We'll look forward to the next 50 episode, 100 coming up soon, halfway through. Again, thanking everyone who has tuned in with us through these 50 episodes. I've had a lot of supporters. We've grown a lot. We've highs and lows, but thank you for everyone tuning in. That'll do it for episode 50 of The Final Whistle, and we'll see everyone next time.
One thing, score update. Vanderbilt 42-38 right now against St. Mary's. Wow. Maryland, Grand Canyon tipped off. Our Grand Canyon pick, they're down 18-12.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll try and save our brackets, but we'll see you guys next time.
See y'all.